I did want to make just a few remarks and thank yous, and I'll start with the thank yous. Certainly thank you first to Governor Cooper and President Price, who are obviously not here. But I think we heard from both of them about how at the state level and also at the university level, they are committed to to the climate issues and moving towards renewable energy sources. And I think it was really inspirational to hear from Cooper to recount some of the ways that they're actually working toward this. And then obviously being at Duke, it's always good to hear from President Price and his perspective on some of the climate commitment and other things that we can plug into. Next, from the Institute, a big thank you to Brian and his crew, Rachel and Trey. And I'd like to just give them a round of applause if I can. They really made this happen. And Christopher Svensson, who's a big part of it as well. Thank you very much, Chris. Yeah. I do want to thank the Oceans at Duke group, and for those of you, please do stick around. I'll come to the program in a minute, but Oceans at Duke is something that's grown very organically at the university, and we have the student group that's putting on the Blue Economy Summit this evening and tomorrow is about 150 strong, all graduate students. Actually, we'll get the undergrads going here pretty quick. But those 150 come from across the university, every school in the university, from divinity to law to medicine to public policy to environment to who did I forget? I don't know. To the engineering. We have student representation from across the university, which is really pretty amazing. And I had no idea that it would come to that. And people to thank that and Brian thanked them earlier, for Rebecca Vidra, Dan Vermeer, John Verdon, and Pat Halpin. And also sitting in the room with us is the good Stephen Rohde, Esquire, who's also been a huge part of Oceans at Duke and keeping it going. I also wanted to thank the student volunteers who came out this morning and helped with registration and some logistics. So thanks to all them and all to the students that came today and sat through and asked questions. And I think that's all the thanks, other than finally to the panelists right now, but all the panelists today, and also to the moderators for chipping in that little bit of extra to help think and scope and shape and host. So thank you to the panelists and moderators. Did I forget any thank yous? Oh, don't worry, I'm not there yet. Okay. Okay, just a couple parting thoughts. Obviously, offshore wind is going to be a significant part of our solution to a low carbon electrical grid. And I did a little poking around, and I'm sure we could all find different numbers, but drawdown.org is a pretty interesting site. And the estimate from Drawdown is that between 2020 and 2050, that offshore wind could be responsible for as much as 10.22 gigatons of CO2 equivalent, either reduced or sequestered. And so I think the reason I bring that up is because we heard a lot today about challenges and pathways and permits and all the rest of it, but that we should take heart in that there are some, well, already being realized, but attainable goals of that sort and scale and magnitude that we could realize in all this. And I think there's a lot of brains, a lot of effort, a lot of energy being put behind it to get that energy source. But it's important, I think, to keep in mind that we have the possibility for making a significant impact. Clearly, the administration, both here in Raleigh as well as in Washington, are this is a big priority, and they're doing a lot to make it go quickly. I started writing down some of the opportunities and challenges that we identified today, and so I started with recyclable turbine blades to Beaufort Sea States, high voltage cables to loan contracts, Duke to electron distribution. Are you noticing a pattern? Elevator technicians to environmental justice, investments to interconnections, jackup barges to Jones Act to jobs. I'm only at J, if you're keeping track. I'm not going to go through the whole alphabet, Brian, don't worry. But honestly, it just was kind of fun to try to put these together. Levelized cost to voltage loads, permitting to PPAs, right whales to risk to radial cables, supply chains to students. And I just skipped to Z. Anybody seen the Z Bridge? It's this really cool Dutch innovation to work on offshore construction to zones of influence. All right, I'll quit with Z, but we could go on beyond zebra. But I do think we did cover a lot of water today. And there is a lot of rubber out there, and a lot of it's on the road or on the beach. Hopefully we don't have that much on the beach, but we've covered a lot of water today, and there's a lot in motion already. And I think we're all looking forward to keeping that in motion. And the last thing is that as Governor Cooper started with today, offshore wind is the next big thing. And of course, he was quite proud of the fact that North Carolina is ready for that. But what I'll say is we at Duke, with interdisciplinarity in our DNA, welcome the opportunity and the challenge to play a role as a convener, information source, and really a force multiplier when it comes to the responsible and timely development of offshore wind. So with that, I will say thank you all very much.